Now, as for Pep Guardiola, I think, and Manchester City as a whole, the fact that they have the relief of having won it, not just because of the lack of performance today, but what it has meant in the past, their inability to close this competition and actually win it, now it sets them up for success as they face seasons to come.
Sure.
Because whatever nerves were there today, whatever doubts, whatever hesitancy that we have mentioned was there, I imagine that this team now feels like, okay, we got that out of the way. Now you can't bring this up again. If you're Pep Guardiola, if you're Manchester City, if you're the players, you can't bring this up again. We've done it. You'd have to imagine that if they were in this same position again next year, regardless of the opposition, they again would be favorites, and they probably would handle the moment a whole lot better than they did today. As for Guardiola and his legacy as a manager as a whole, and as a manager for Manchester City, the titles speak for themselves, and this is just confirmation of what we already knew.
Was anybody out there trying to knock this guy, then they need their head looking. You don't have to be a fan or a supporter, but you can't. And if you're out there saying, well, anybody can spend that amount of money and put a team together, well, many have tried, but nobody's played like this consistently. Yeah. Even he in the first half, though, when the camera cut to him, was shouting and screaming on the field, relax.
Yeah.
Relax, players. They were, and I think that goes back to what we're talking about in the performance. He could feel that there were the players, his players were uptight in possession. It wasn't that normal touch, crisp pass, forward, accurate. It was all a bit 2 and 3 touches or first time, and it was laboured, and it was.
And it's pretty much everyone, wasn't
it? It was contagious.
Yeah, it was everyone, and included the goalkeeper, who's one of the best at playing out from the back, just launching a ball 20 yards from the target that he tried to go to. So it was the one thing I didn't think I'd be sitting here today saying, Man City got a bit lucky. Never felt I would be saying Man City got a bit lucky, but they got that luck today, and maybe, you know, the gods were with them for what's happened to them over the last 2 or 3 years in this competition.
And they won't care, Robbo, as the boys mentioned, of course. That's it, the treble done. That first Champions League title, is that now the opportunity for them to kick on and win a lot more?
Big time.
Absolutely. You know, it started many years ago when Mancini won the league, when they won the FA Cup as well, and that started them believing they could go and win things. Now they've won the Champions League. They have to be favourites in the next few seasons if Guardiola stays. If Guardiola leaves in a couple of years' time, Man City, I don't think, will be the same club. We have to give him a lot of praise. He's the outstanding manager in world football at the moment. He's innovative. He comes up with different ideas. Sometimes he might make the wrong decisions. I thought he made the wrong decision by leaving out Walker today and playing De Bruyne on the left-hand side and moving Gundogan over. I couldn't understand why he did that when they've been playing so brilliantly in recent weeks the other way around. But he's a magnificent manager. If he stays for the next couple of years, they've got to be favourites. This is the start of a domination by Man City, you'd think.
Just explain that mentality a little bit, Stevie, of winning that first one.
It's actually more about the next one.
Right.
You know, you saw the relief in all the players' faces, the way the things that were coming out with. That tells you complete and utter and total relief. Now it's a new ball game. Now we can just go on now and win this. And we expect to at least be in the final again. Right. And we expect it. And so every single person's thinking that same way, which means your standard has to be there. So not only in games is your standard there, but in training your standard's there. And then when you've got Pep Guardiola as your manager, you've got a guy who not only knows what he's talking about as far as what's going on the field and everything else, but his man management has to be superb. Because to be able to keep such a squad, the players that are playing and the players that are not playing on their toes constantly, because you can't produce what they've done this year unless they're turning up every day, every game, ready to go. You know, the desire's there, the mentality's there. They've got to look after themselves away from the field the right way. There are so many things that particularly the manager has to be on top of in order for this treble to happen. And I'm with Robbo. If Pep goes, that's going to be the biggest problem. Not buying so-called superstars, but keeping the feet on the ground, but also the standards high. And if you want the example of how not to do it, all you got to do is look across the channel at PSG. They've never managed to get a manager who's kept them on their toes or kept them in line.
Apparently, Kyle Walker gave a speech ahead of the game saying, "Your dream is in my hands." Did you do that in the FA Cup final, Craig? When you got dropped?
Kyle Walker gave a speech?
Yeah, gave a speech ahead of the kickoff.
Shouldn't have said, my dream's in your hands,
Yes.
because he wasn't playing.
Yes, that's what he said. He said,
Well,
"My
no,
dream's in
because
your
he was actually on, because they have like 25 substitutes. Unfortunately, there was only 3 then. I was in the bar. But yeah, well, he must have taken it well.
Yeah, Pep asked him to speak to the team. Obviously,
I would have said sod off. Speak to the team. Have you seen how I've been playing? You've dropped me. Which was, I mean, fair play to him, and obviously came on, played his part at the end for a short period. I just thought it was like everybody, that was a head scratcher. But it has felt a little weird talking about City in the way in which we have to do.
But Pep afterwards said it was a coin flip in the end. We were lucky. So I don't think there's any.
So we're right.
Well,
hey.
Well, I'm sure City fans may contest
I think just to get that off the back, because
don't you think they still deserved it though? I mean, you can say they were lucky, but
Yeah, I suppose
I just told you they had clearer chances than Inter.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.